अनंत वैकुंठ मुकुंद कृष्ण गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति वक्तुं समर्थोऽपि न वक्ति कश्चित् अहो जनानां व्यसनाभिमुख्यम् अहो जनानां व्यसनाभिमुख्यम्। श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्रीकृष्ण भक्त प्रिय चक्रपाणि श्री पद्मनाभाच्युत कैटभारे श्रीराम पद्माक्ष हरे मुरारे अनंत वैकुंठ मुकुंद कृष्ण गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। All of you must already be knowing about the author of this stotra. His name is Sri Bilva Mangala Thakura. Sri Bilva Mangala Thakura is also famous as Leela Shuka. The reason why he is called Leela Shuka is Shukadeva Goswami recited or narrated the Srimad Bhagavatam very, very sweetly. So the narrations and the compositions, the works of Sri Bilva Mangala are so sweet that they call him Leela Shuka. He has presented to us the pastimes of Sri Krishna as sweetly as Sri Shukadeva Goswami. That's why he has become very popular as Sri Leela Shuka. Bilva Mangala Thakura has authored many works. Sri Krishna Karnamrita is the most famous of them, and the Sri Govinda Damodara Stotra and Bala Mukunda Ashtaka. Many such works are attributed to him. Bilva Mangala was a little about his story, his how he came to write the Krishna Karnamrita and things like that. Bilva Mangala was born in a very opulent family. He was a very wonderful singer. He was always giving concerts, and to one such singing concert, a prostitute called Chintamani came to hear his concert. She was so enchanted by his singing that after the concert, she requests him to come to her house to sing for a kacheri at her house. Bilva Mangala immediately complies. He says, okay, I'll surely come sing at your home. But all of his friends will tell him that the prostitute you want to go sing in her house, it's not a good idea. Many people actually warn him against going there. But Bilva Mangala does not listen to them. He goes to Chintamani's house. The name of the prostitute is Chintamani. He goes to her house and he sings there. And he keeps going back again and again to her house, and he's very enchanted by her. And after hearing Bilva Mangala sing, there's a great transformation in Chintamani. She becomes very attracted to singing about Krishna, kirtans, and she becomes very devotional. And Bilva Mangala is very attracted to Chintamani on a very mundane platform, and he's every day visiting her, and he becomes very crazy about her. And then he's not taking care of his old parents, and he's neglecting his young wife, and all the standard symptoms followed. One day, Bilva Mangala's father, aged father, he passes away. That day, Bilva Mangala had to stay home during the day to perform the final rites of his father. At night, after the final rites of the father are over, he is very eager to go meet Chintamani. Everybody in the house chastises him. They say, today, your father has passed away. You have performed funeral rites for him. This is not the right time to go meet the prostitute. But Bilva Mangala has lost his mind to his lust. So he wants to go meet Chintamani at any cost. He goes to the river. Chintamani is staying on the other side of the river, on the other bank of the river. And the river is in full tide that day. It's overflowing in floods. He requests the boatman to take him across the river, but the boatman is very afraid. I am not ready to die yet. If you want to go, you go by yourself. I'm not going to sail you across. So the boatman refused. So Bilva Mangala jumps into the river to swim across. And it was on full tide. It was very difficult to swim. And there was something floating in the river. He thinks it's a log of wood or some tree trunk or something, and he holds to it tightly, and he swims across and goes to the other bank of the river. And when he reaches the other bank of the river, he realizes that what he was holding and swimming across was actually a corpse. It's a dead body. In his excitement, in his anxiety to go meet Chintamani, he doesn't realize that he's swimming across using a corpse. He goes to the other side of the bank, and then he goes to Chintamani's house. It's raining cats and dogs. There's so much of thunder, storm, lightning, and the climate and weather were so frightening. And he's banging it. In olden days, how the houses were. No, there's a house in between, and there's a big compound wall around. And then in between the house and the compound wall, there's a big garden. So this compound wall gate is closed, and he's banging at the door. He's calling, Chintamani, I am here to meet you. Open the door. But Chintamani is inside. She is very happy. She's singing inside. He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. So she's very busy singing Krishna bhajan because of the what she has heard from Bilvamangala. She's so much into devotion now. She's busy singing and worshipping Krishna with the songs. She couldn't hear Bilvamangala calling from outside. So Bilvamangala, what he does, he tries to climb over the wall and jump across. But because it is so slippery, the walls are all very full of this green algae and all that, and it's slipping because of the water. So he catches hold of a fat rope that's hanging from the wall, and he climbs the wall and goes inside the compound. Then he hears a hissing sound. And Bilvamangala is surprised, why is the rope hissing? When he looks back, he sees that what he thought was a rope was actually a big cobra. So in his anxiety, in his hastiness to meet Chintamani, he is not able to realize whether he's holding a corpse or a snake or a cobra. His mind is lost. He goes inside and bangs at the door of the building. And then Chintamani comes, opens the door, and she's very surprised seeing Bilvamangala there. She knows that her father passed away that day. So she didn't expect him that day. So she just tells him, no, it's not the right time to come see me. You go back. So please go away. It's not the right time. Your father passed away today. It's a morning day. You go back. Then Bilvamangala cries. He says, you please don't send me away like this. You can't do this to me. I swimmed across the river when it's on full tide. It was flooding. I didn't care for my life also. I love you so much. I can't stay without seeing you. So you please don't refuse me. You please don't be unkind to me. He's just begging at her door. And then Chintamani feels very bad. So much of fervor you have to meet me and to talk to me. If even a little amount of this fervor you had in singing Krishna's names, in knowing about Krishna, in reaching Krishna, then it would have been so wonderful. When Chintamani uttered these words, it was as if like a big slap on Bilvamangala's face. He suddenly realized that through Chintamani's words, he realized that the human form of life is meant for God realization. He suddenly realized that he's been wasting this wonderful opportunity called Manava Janma in such tuchcha happiness, in such lowly happiness. And then he suddenly felt very grateful for Chintamani. He could see that it was his spiritual master who has come in the form of Chintamani to enlighten him. So he thanks Chintamani profusely, and then and there, right from there, he decides that he would go to Vrindavan and dedicate his life to sing about Krishna. And then he starts walking towards Vrindavan from there itself. A moment is enough, no, for the transformation to come. That's all Krishna's arrangement. Through Chintamani, Krishna has enlightened Bilvamangala, and then Bilvamangala, with a transformed heart, he starts walking towards Vrindavan. On the way, he's fasting, and then he's singing, and then somebody gifted him sadhu's clothes. And then some people are feeding him. And in ancient India, in Vedic culture, whenever they see sadhu, people always respected. They gave food, clothing, shelter, and all these things, because there was no other means to go. No, he was walking towards Vrindavan. He stayed somewhere in South India. They say he stayed in Kerala. He was walking towards Vrindavan. On the way, one day he was very thirsty, singing. He goes near a well to quench his thirst. He sees a beautiful Brahmin lady there, drawing water from the well. When he sees that lady from behind, seeing her gait and her gestures, he remembers Chintamani. And he starts calling, Chintamani, Chintamani, how come you are here? I am so happy to see you. And he starts talking like that. When she sees that this man is in sadhu garbs and his looks and talks are very not very fair, that Brahmin lady gets very alarmed, and she quickly catches hold of her pot and she starts very hastily walking towards her house. And this Bilva Mangala in sadhu's clothes, in the Vaishnava attire, he is walking behind her. He's calling out, Chintamani, Chintamani, please wait. Why are you leaving me and going? I am really longing to see you. Please, 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 Chintamani, Chintamani. He's calling like that. He's going behind. This lady quickly goes into the house, and then she calls her husband. See, there's some crooked fellow. He looks like a devotee, but his approach is very bad. He's making some advances towards him. You please go out and drive him away. So this Brahmana comes out and sees he's a sadhu. You can see that devotional effulgence on his face. He immediately pays obeisances and he says, Mahatma, what service can I render for you? He says, no, my friend Chintamani has gone into your house. So the Brahmana says, no, sir, that is not Chintamani. That is my wife. No, I have seen Chintamani go into your house. I want to see her now. So then the Brahmana goes inside and says, he's just asking to see you. There is nothing wrong. Vaishnava is at our door. He just wants to see you. You please come and show yourself. So when she comes and shows herself, he looks at her. He realizes it is not Chintamani. Then he's very, very sad. He's very upset with himself. He goes to that Mataji, that Brahmin's wife, and he says, Mother, can you please give me your hairpin? So she removes some ornament from her head and she gives him. He takes that ornament and he just plucks his eyes. He just pushes into his eyes and there's blood flowing, and immediately the Brahmin and his wife are shocked. They say, Mahatma, what have you done? Why did you do this to yourself? So he says, no, these eyes are only fooling me time and again. They are drawing me away from Krishna and they are pulling me towards these mundane things and mundane beauty time and again. I don't want to be fooled once again. I want to see Lord Krishna with my Mano Netra, with the eye of my mind, and then dedicate this lifetime to Krishna alone, just so that I may not be brought back to these mundane attractions. I've decided to be blind. And then he's singing and he continues his travel. One day as he's traveling, the breeze that touches his skin and the sweet cooing of the birds and the very sound and ambience of the place he enters thrills him very much. The sound is so pleasing and the breeze is so soothing, and he feels there are goosebumps on his skin, and he feels a special enthusiasm, excitement, and then he's just surprised. What place is it? So he just calls out, is there anybody around? Is there anybody around to help this blind man? So then somebody tells, yes, Baba, I am here. Who are you? Why are you here? Then he says, can you tell me how far is Vrindavan from here? Bilva Mangala is asking that boy. And the boy laughs. And the boy's laugh is like a waterfall, you know. And Bilva Mangala becomes more enchanted. He says, can you tell me how far is Vrindavan from here? And then the boy laughs again. He says, Arey Baba, you're already in Vrindavan and you're asking how far is Vrindavan? This is Vrindavan. That is the Govardhan hill. Can't you hear the calves jumping and the bells in their neck ringing? Can't you hear the cows moving so sweetly? Can't you hear the cowherd men rushing the cows home? Things like then Bilwamangala is so excited, he immediately pays prostrated obeisances to the Vrindavan Dham. And then this little boy is telling, "Oh Baba, you don't have eyes. How did you come all the way? How can you take care of yourself?" And something like that. The boy is talking. Then Bilwamangala is inquiring about the boy. "What is your name? What do you do here? Do you live here? Do you stay here?" And things like that. And the boy is holding Bilwamangala's stick, and he is taking him around. Then the boy says, "Baba, my name is Nanda Gopal. My father is a cowherd man. I take care of the calves here. And my mother always churns very soft butter. You sit here, I'll go home, fetch you. I'll ask my mother and fetch you some milk." And Bilwamangala saying, "No, Nanda Gopal, don't go. You please stay with me. I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty." But then this little boy Nanda Gopal goes away, comes back after some time, gives Bilwamangala a pot of milk, a small pot of milk. And Bilwamangala drinks that milk. He feels all types of ecstasy in his body. And then he thinks, "Oh, it is because it's Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a special place." And then every day he's sitting there, he's composing some songs, he's singing them. And daily this little boy Nanda Gopal is coming and listening to Bilwamangala sing his songs. He's composing so many shlokas. Karara vindena padara vindam mukara vinde viniveshayantam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam Manasa Smarami. So many beautiful poems and songs Bilwamangala is singing. And Nanda Gopal is coming, putting his palm under his chin and listening to Bilwamangala attentively. Every day Nanda Gopal would bring some milk or curd for Bilwamangala. Bilwamangala would drink that. And every day they are both enjoying time together. One day Bilwamangala suddenly realized that he is becoming very attached to this boy. "Oh, somehow I got rid of attachment with Chintamani. How come that I am getting attached to this boy? I should have a Aikantiki focus on devotion. I should focus only on Krishna." And if one day the boy doesn't come, then Bilwamangala feels very terrible. He feels very desperate. Why is Nanda Gopal not here today? Why is Nanda Gopal not here today? Why did he become late? And then he realizes that I am becoming very attached to this boy. It is good that I will send him away, so that otherwise I will again be distracted from my devotional service. So that day Nanda Gopal is coming late. Bilwamangala is asking, "Nanda Gopal, why are you late today?" Nanda Gopal is saying, "No, Baba, today my mother fed me some extra laddus. So it took me time to finish all the laddus. I brought some laddus for you also. I don't want any laddus. You please go away. Why are you every day coming and wasting my time and pestering me? I have so many things to do. I have so many poems to write. I have so many songs to sing. You please every day don't come to me. You go away. You go away." So Nanda Gopal says, "Baba, why are you angry with me today? I just came little late. My mother asked me to finish some more laddus. Please don't be angry with me. I am sorry." No, I am not angry with you. You go away. I have many things to do. You please don't come and waste my time every day. You go away. "Baba, are you saying it from your heart? You really want me to go away?" "Yes, go away. I'm asking you again. If I go away, I'll not come again. I'm telling you, you go away. Go away. Baba, I'm asking second time. If I go away, I will not come again. I'm telling you to go away. Nanda Gopal, you go away." Then last time, if I go away, I'll not come. Are you sure you want me to go away? Bilwamangala says, "Yes, go away." And then Nanda Gopal goes away. After Nanda Gopal goes away, the realization dawns on Bilwamangala that Nanda Gopal is none other than his most worshipful Lord Sri Krishna, for whom he has come. Then Bilwamangala is in tears. He's shattered. He's very upset with Krishna. He cries. His whole body is melting into tears. He's crying so much. He's telling, "Oh Lord, why did you do this to me? Why didn't you give me the realization that it is you who is every day coming and listening to my songs? Why did you make me send you away and then give me the realization that it is you? How can you be so unkind to me? How can you do this to me? Your servant, please don't be so unkind to me. Please come back. Please give me your association." Bilwamangala is very terribly sobbing and crying, and he's very shattered. Then he hears the Lord's voice. "Bilwamangala, please don't worry. I did this just to increase your love for me. my instruction for you is, you please go to South India, where I have manifested myself as Anantashayana. And there, a large deity of me as Anantashayana is there. I want you to go there and spend the rest of your life there, composing poems on me. Hearing this from the Lord, Bilumangala is very happy, and then he travels back to Trivandrum, where the Lord is there as Ananta Padmanabha. Now the Lord is there as big as our hall, maybe. No, you have to look at the Lord from 3 doors. If from one door, you can see the Lord's lotus feet. In the middle door, you can take darshan of the Lord's lotus navel, and in the first door, you can see the Lord's lotus face. But in those days, when Bilvamangala went back from Vrindavan to Trivandrum, Thiruvananthapuram, the Lord was, the deity was so large, his lotus head was in some village, and the middle portion of the deity was in some other village, and the lotus feet were in some other village. One had to travel 3 villages to take the full darshan of the Lord. And Bilvamangala would every day do circumambulate the whole deity. That means he is going to the 3 villages. He would walk so far every day and circumambulate the deity, and then come back and do his composition. And he wrote many works like that: Govinda Damodara Stotra, Krishna Karnamrita, and then Chaurashtakam, Chauragraganya Purushashtakam, that is also by Bilvamangala. He wrote many poems, and then when he became very old, he's not able to walk much. It's taking a long time for him to do the circumambulation, do the pradakshina, and come back. He would take one whole day just to do pradakshina, and then he would come back and be so tired. And then the Lord told him, Bilvamangala, it's okay. Now, you don't do circumambulation every day. You're old now, you're tired. You just take darshan of lotus feet one day, take darshan of the navel one day, take darshan of the lotus face one day. That should be okay. Every day, why do you want to circumambulate? You're old now. But Bilvamangala doesn't listen. He says, my O is O. Without circumambulating you, I am not going to take prasad. So out of mercy for Bilvamangala, the Lord shrunk himself into what size we see Ananta Padmanabha today, so that Bilvamangala could easily circumambulate the Lord and then keep up his woe. And the rest of his life, Bilvamangala spent in Thiruvananthapuram, composing and singing wonderful, beautiful prayers, as sweetly as narrated by Sukadeva Goswami, and he became popular as Leela Shuka. So as sweet as the story is the stotra by Sri Bilvamangala, called the Govinda Damodara Stotra. So we will see the first 10 verses of the stotra today, and Krishna willing and you all desiring, we will discuss some more stotra, some more shlokas from the stotra some other time. This stotra is called the Govinda Damodara Stotra because the chorus or the repeating line in the stotra says Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. That is why the stotra is called Govinda Damodara Stotra. So there are around 70 to 72 shlokas in this stotra. There are some Pata Vedas and 2-3 shlokas here and there in various versions available. So let's look at the first 10 shlokas today. I'll recite the shloka. You can recite after me. I'll tell one line at a time, and then I'll explain the meaning of the shloka. On purpose, I didn't put the translations because by reading the shloka and when we are reciting the shloka, we should be able to meditate on the meaning. So when we understand the shloka without a translation below, it will be easy to remember the intent of the shloka, no, the meaning of the shloka. So let's recite. This is the first shloka. In the Govinda Damodara Stotra, first shloka, he's lost his eyes, he has lost his reputation, he has lost his dhanam cha manam cha tatendriyani. And his very life, Sri Krishna also, he himself asked him to go away. So he is in a very desperation. So he chose to start this shloka with the same mood, no? Of desperation, that there is nobody else who who can protect me. Oh Krishna, oh Govinda, oh Damodara, oh Madhava, please come protect me. So he's starting with Draupadi's with the situation where Draupadi called out to Krishna desperately, calling him out, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Agre kuruna mata pandavanam. Agre kuruna mata pandavanam. Dushasanena hritavastrakesha. Dushasanena hritavastrakesha. Krishna tadakrosha dananyanata. Krishna tadakrosha dananyanata. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Agre Kurunam. In the front, there are the sons of Dhritarashtra, Kurus. Ata Pandavanam. On the other side, there are Pandavas. Dushasanena, by Dushasana, Akrita Vastrakesha. Dushasana is pulling, is disrobing her, is pulling her hair, Kesha, and the Vastra, her garment. Krishna, when it's longer, it refers to Draupadi. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is Draupadi. She's a black beauty. So she's called Krishna. Her name is Krishna. She's the daughter of King Drupada. So she's called Draupadi. She's the princess of Panchala Desha. So she's called Panchali. So Krishna, Tada, at that time, when in front there are Kurus and besides there are Pandavas, and this wicked, crooked Dushasana is pulling at her clothes and he's dragging her by her hair. Krishna at that time, Akroshat, cried out desperately, Ananyanatha, oh Lord, I don't have any other master, I don't have any other Natha. And she cried out, Do Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Agre Kuruna Mata Pandavanam Dushasanena Krita Vastrakesha Krishna Tada Krosha Dananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Draupadi cried out helplessly, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, I have nobody else. Oh my Lord, please come protect me. Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare. Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare. Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare. Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare. Trayasvamam Keshavalokanata. Trayasvamam Keshavalokanata. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. This is a personal prayer of Sri Bilwamangala. Here in the first shloka, he told us that in that situation, Draupadi, Krishna is crying out to you, calling you Govinda Damodara Madhava. Oh Lord, as you protected Draupadi, Tayasva Mam, please protect me also. O Krishna, O Vishnu, O killer of Madhu and Kaitaba, O Bhaktanukampin. Bhaktanukampin is one who is very affectionate to his devotees. O Bhagavan, O Supreme Lord, Murare, O killer of the Mura demon. Trayasva Mam, Trayasva, protect me. Help me cross over. Keshava, Lokanatha, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. In the same way as you protected Draupadi who called out to you in distress, please protect me also. Trayasva Mam. O Krishna, Vishnu, Madhukaitabare, Bhaktanukampin, O Lord, affectionate to the devotees. O Bhagavan, O Murare, O killer of the Murad Raman. O Keshava, O Lokanatha, master of the three worlds. O Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Please protect me also. Trayasva Mam. I forgot to tell the meaning of the three terms Govinda, Damodara and Madhava. Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the cows. In this Mangalacharna Shloka, what we recited, you can look at these three pictures. First picture showing Krishna as Govinda. Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the cows. Go also means earth. Go also means Vedas. So Govinda means one who gives pleasure to Mother Earth and one who gives pleasure to Vedas. The Vedas also are glorifying Krishna. Vedas Sanga Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga. So Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the cows. one who gives pleasure to Mother Earth, and one who is glorified by the Vedas. Damodara is one who has a dama or a rope at his udara, the tummy. When the naughty boy broke the butter pot, Mother Yashoda bound him to a mortar. Then she bound him hard, and on his delicate skin, there's a mark appearing. Because he has a mark of the rope on his delicate belly, he is called Damodara. Madhava, Ma is Mother Lakshmi, and Dhava is husband. Madhava is husband of the goddess of fortune. So I put Gopinath picture here because so many goddesses of fortune are there, always serving Krishna in his eternal abode. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambrama Sevyamanam. So for Madhava, I put this Gopinath picture. Govinda Damodara Madhava. So let's look at shloka number 3. Shloka number 3 is Vikretukama kila gopakanya. Vikretukama kila gopakanya. Murari padarpita chitta vritti. Murari padarpita chitta vritti. Dadyadikam moha vasadavochat. Dadyadikam moha vasadavochat. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So the gopis are all going to sell butter, curd, milk, and all these cow products, all the milk products in the streets of Mathura. Generally, when the vegetable sellers or whatever is being sold, they call out the name of that item. Oh, tomatoes, very red tomatoes, good tomatoes, and things like that, right? So these people, the gopis, these ladies, they're supposed to call out butter, soft butter, fresh milk, thick curd, and things like that. But Murari Padarpita Chitta Vritti, all the meditations of their chitta, all the activities of their mind are submitted at the lotus feet of Sri Murari. Murari Padarpita Chitta Vritti. Because their mind is already surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna, because all their mind's activities are already submitted at Murari's pada, Dadyadikam, though they are selling dadi and other items, Mohavasad, in their ecstasy, avochet, they are calling out. Instead of calling out curd, milk, butter, they are calling out Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Vikretu Kama, Kila Gopa Kanya, Vikretu Kama. Vikretu is to sell. Kama is they're actually going into the streets of Madura, desiring to sell these products. But instead of calling out the names of the products they are selling, because their mind is already entangled at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, they are calling out Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Vikretu Kama, Kila Gopa Kanya, Murari Padarpita Chitta Vritti, Dadyadikam Moha Vashadavochat, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. This is an other scene in Vrindavan. The gopis, they're all Vaishyas. No, Vaishyas are mostly into Krishi and Goraksha. They do agriculture, and then they're also taking care of Gopalana. That's why Balrama is holding Halano, plow, because that is one of the chief activities of the Vaishyas. So the cowherd women, they are collecting all the rice, tandula, and then they have to make it into rice. They using the mortar and the pestles, they're hitting the grains in the mortar and then making rice out of them. While they are doing this, they're all together. Generally, these activities are done together. No, so 3-4 ladies come together and they grind the rice, pound rice. They say pound rice and make husk it out. While they do that, the gopis are remembering Krishna, and out of affection for Krishna, while they're doing this activity, they are calling out Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Ulukale sambrita tandulanscha, Ulukale sambrita tandulanscha, Sangattayantyo musalai pramugda, संगट्टयन्त्यो मुसलै प्रमुग्धां गायन्ति गोप्यो जनितानुरागा गायन्ति गोप्यो जनितानुरागा गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. Ulukala is the mortar. The same Ulukala has a lot of activity in the Vrindavan. It's the same Ulukala Yashodamai tied Krishna to when he broke the butter pot. They placed all the tandulans, the rice, the unhusked rice, and then Musalai is the pestle, okay, with which they hit. All these Pramugdha, these very innocent gopis, they all came together, Sangattayanto, they all assembled. And then while they are doing that, out of love for Krishna, they are singing out Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Then there is this very beautiful gopi in Vrindavan with lotus-like eyes, Saroruhakshi. And then on her lotus-like palm, she's placing her pet parrot. And then she's teaching the parrot, my dear parrot, please learn to say Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. So this shloka is giving us a picture of that sweet gopi who is teaching her pet parrot to sing the names of Krishna. Kachit karamboja pute nishannam, Kachit karamboja pute nishannam, Krida shukam kim shukarakta tundam, Krida shukam kim shukarakta tundam, Adhyapayamasa saroruhakshi, Adhyapayamasa saroruhakshi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Vrindavan is a land of devotees who are always thinking of Krishna, always thinking of serving Krishna, always singing Krishna's names. So Bilvamangala, whatever the great acharyas are writing, it is not just some poetic composition, or it's not just some imagination. All their writings are actually the revelations what Krishna gives them, the realization, the revelations. So these devotees, they are looking at various scenes that are happening in Vrindavana, and in order to benefit us, they have put all this into words so that we can also get a glimpse of what all is happening in Vrindavan. So this is another such scene that's happening in Vrindavan. This beautiful lady, Bilvamangala, is describing her hand as Amboja. Ambo is water. Amboja is that which is born of water. So Amboja is another name for lotus. Kachit Taramboja. This gopi's hand is like lotus. Pute is on the surface. On the surface of her lotus-like hand, Nishannam, she placed. Whom did she place? Krida Shukam, her pet parrot. And then he's also describing the parrot. Kimshuka Rakta Tundam. Kimshuka plants are the plants they call the forest fire plants. They have orange flowers, and in autumn all the leaves fall away and only orange flowers are seen. That is the Kimshuka Vriksha. So the beak of the parrot is as red as the Kimshuka flowers. So Krida Shukam Kimshuka Rakta Tundam. She placed this pet parrot on her lotus-like hand, on her palm, and the parrot's beak is red like the Kimshuka flower. And then what is she doing? She's Adhyapayamasa. She's teaching the pet parrot, the Saroruhakshi. Saroruha is lotus again. Akshi is eyes. Saroruhakshi, this lotus-eyed lady, she's teaching the pet parrot, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Oh, my pet parrot, learn the names, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Kachit karamboja pute nishannam, Krida shukam kinshuka rakta tundam, Adhyapayamasa saroruhakshi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Not only this one lady, all the gopis, they gather in everybody's house in groups. And in every group, wherever they find the pinjara and the sarika, all kinds of birds, to all the birds they find, they're trying to make them say these words, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. And the birds are also in broken words, in sweet words. They're repeating after these ladies the words Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Grihe Grihe Gopa Vadu Samuha, गृहे गृहे गोपवधू समूहः प्रतिक्षणं पिञ्जरसारिकानां प्रतिक्षणं पिञ्जरसारिकानां स्खलद्गिरं वाचयितुं प्रवृत्तो स्खलद्गिरं वाचयितुं प्रवृत्तो गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. Grihe grihe, in every house there are gopavadhu samuha. There gopis are in groups sitting pratikshanam, every moment. What are they doing? Vachayitum pravritto. They are forcing, they are teaching, they are again and again asking, teaching the pinjaras and the sarikas, the various kinds of birds, to trying to make them say out the words Govinda Damodara Madhava in Skaladgiram, in broken words. In the next shloka, they put this baby Krishna in the jhula, in the swing, in the cradle, actually cradle, not swing. And then while the little boy is swinging and trying to sleep in the cradle, all the gopis they assemble around the swing and they are singing Govinda Damodara Madhava. Not just like that, Swaratala Bandham, along with the tala, and in beautiful tones they are all together singing Jagu Prabandham, many songs and compositions about Krishna, and thus trying to make him sleep, go to bed. Paryanka is a cradle. Okay, Alam Kumaram. So Yashoda is putting this little baby Krishna in the cradle, and then all the gopis around, Gopa Kanyaha, Akila Gopa Kanyaha, all the Gopa Kanyas have come there to put the baby Krishna to sleep by singing in beautiful meters and tones, Govinda Damodara Madhava. Paryankika Bhajamalam Kumaram, Paryankika Bhajamalam Kumaram, Prasvapayantyo Akila Gopa Kanyaha, Prasvapayantyo Akila Gopa Kanyaha, Jaguprabandham Swaratala Bandham, Jaguprabandham Swaratala Bandham, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Whether putting their children to rest, or whether going to visit Krishna, whether talking to the pet parrots or the birds, or while pounding the rice, whatever is the activity they are doing, all the Vrindavan Vasis, they are always singing the holy names of Krishna. The gopis, even while selling butter, they are always singing Krishna's names. So in the next scene, Bilvamangala is telling us about a gopi who's seeing that this Ramanuja, the younger brother of Balarama, he is very busy playing with all the cowherd boys. Krishna, Balarama, and all the cowherd boys are very busy playing. But she wants Krishna to come to her. She wants to call him, feed him some nice butter. But if you just call out Krishna, Krishna, will a boy playing come? He will not come. So she tried to lure him. She tried to lure him by showing him a small ball of butter. She showed him a Navanita Gola. She showed him a ball of butter, and then among all the boys, she called him Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, and she's showing, if you come to me, I'm going to feed you this soft butter ball. Ramanujam Vikshanakeli Lolam, Ramanujam Vikshanakeli Lolam, Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam, Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam, Abalakam Balakama Juhava, Abalakam Balakama Juhava, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. She called him. She called the Ramanuja, oh Govinda, oh Damodara, oh Madhava, come. I will give you this soft butter ball. Ramanujam Vikshanakeli Lolam. She saw that the Ramanuja, the younger brother of Rama, Balarama, is very much into play. Then what she did? Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam. She took from the butter pot, she picked up a small ball of butter. Then Abalakam, from among all the boys there, Balakam Ajuhava, this little black, beautiful boy, she's calling Ajuhava, she's calling, oh Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, come, I'll feed you this butter ball. He's so kind of Bilvamangala that he is, whatever he's seeing and he's relishing the very pastimes in Vrindavan, the very moods of the Vrindavan Vasis, of the gopis, gopas, and the birds and the parrots and the munis and rishis. We are going to see so many other shlokas will follow, and Krishna's reciprocation with them, and the deep fervor and love and the affection they have for Krishna, and the way they remember Krishna in every activity they do. It's the mercy of these great devotees, these Vaishnava Acharyas, that they have put them into words, their ecstasies and their revelations, so that at least we can get a small glimpse of what is happening in the wonderful world called Vrindavana. Ramanujam Vikshana Lolam Gopi Grihitva Navanita Golam Abalakam Balakamajuhava Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Now, Vilomangala in this shloka, he has turned very contemplative. All the Vrindavan Vasis are always singing Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. And then he's talking to his mouth now. He's talking to his mouth. He's calling his mouth a lotus. So wherever there are lotuses, then there is a swan coming. He's actually calling his mouth as a lotus, and the names of Krishna he's comparing to a swan. He's telling Vichitra Varnabharanabhirami. Oh, my mouth, who has many colors, like the lotus, like many colored lotus. Oh, my lotus mouth. So let the names called Govinda, Damodara, Madhava be always there on the tongue, on my tongue. Rasana is tongue. Agra range, on the tip of my tongue. Me sada madiye, always madiye on. Madiye is my madiye rasane is on my tongue. Sada madiye rasane on my tongue always. Agra range, may they dance. These words called Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, may they always be uttered by my lotus mouth. He's comparing his mouth to the many colored lotus and the beautiful names of the Lord as the Rajahamsa, as the swan. Vichitra Varna Bharana Bhirame Abidehi Vaktrambuja Rajahamse Sada Madiye Rasanegra Range Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. And I have read a second translation also to this shloka. Like in Sanskrit, the upamas can be interpreted in many different ways. So one translator translated it as the mouth is the lotus, and the tongue is the swan, and the author is requesting the swan to always sing out Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Oh, the beautiful swan called my tongue, who is there in the who is very interested in many varnas, Vichitra Varnas. Vichitra Varnas is the poetic meters and the wonderful upamas and metaphors and similes. The mouth likes to utter all these wonderful words. So he is suggesting, oh, my tongue, who is fond of uttering beautiful similes and metaphors. So I have something very nice for you to utter. May the words Govinda, Damodara, Madhava always be there on the tip of my tongue. That is his prayer. He is requesting the tongue to always say these words, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Vichitra Varna Bharana Bhirami. Vichitra Varna are the poetic meters. Abharana, he is calling them, these poetic meters are the Abharana, are the decorations of the mouth, Abhirami. So because of uttering these words again and again, the mouth is attracted to uttering these words. So because you want to utter something nice, I'll give you the best what can be uttered. That is Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. So Bilomangala is requesting his tongue to always say Govinda Damodara Madhava. This is a general trait what we see in devotees. King Kulashekara is also telling Jihve Kirtaya Keshavam. He is not only telling his tongue, he is telling his eyes, ears. Jihve Kirtaya Keshavam Muraripum Cheto Bhaja Sridharam Panidvanva Samarchayachyutakata Shotradvayam Tvam Shrunu Krishnam Lokayalochanadvaya Hare Gachangri Yugmalayam Jigragrana Mukunda Pada Tulasi Murdannama Dukshajam. He's telling, oh my tongue, sing the names of Krishna, oh my ears, hear the names of Hari, oh my hands, clean the temple of Mukunda, oh my legs, take me to the temple of Hari, oh my hands, serve Krishna, oh my nose, smell the tulsi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet. Similar on similar grounds, in similar way, Bilomangala is requesting his tongue. Oh, please, my tongue, because you are very fond of nice poetry. This is the best and tasty thing that can be uttered by you. Please say out Govinda Damodara Madhava. And last shloka for today. Ankadirudham Shishugopagudham. Ankadirudham Shishugopagudham. Tanam Dayantam Kamalaika Kantam. Tanam Dayantam Kamalaika Kantam. Sambodayamasa Mudaya Shoda. Sambodayamasa Mudaya Shoda. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Ankadirudam Shishugopagudam. Anka is in the lap. Adirudam. So this Shishu, she placed the Shishu, her son, on her lap. You think he is a cowherd boy? He is the son of a cowherd boy. Gopagudam. Everybody thinks he is a cowherd boy. But who is he actually? Kamalaika Kantam. He is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Kamala is Lakshmi. So to tell that he is Kamala, the same little boy who is sleeping in Mother Yashoda's lap is the husband of goddess of fortune. So to represent that, I put Lakshmi Narayana on the top. That same Kamalaika Kanta, the master of Kamala, the husband of the goddess of fortune, the Kamala Kanta, what did she do? She placed him Ankadirudam. She placed him in her lap, and this little boy whom she is thinking is her little boy, Stanam Dayantam. She fed him her breast milk, and while she is feeding the little boy, he is with muda, with lot of love, with lot of pleasure, with being very pleased. Asha, she called out. She Sambodayamasa. She called him. She addressed him Govinda Damodara Madhava. Ankadirudam Shishugopagudam, keeping that little boy whom she is thinking is her son, but who is actually Kamalaika Kanta, the husband of the goddess of fortune, Stanam Dayantam, while she fed him her breast milk with lot of pleasure, with being very pleased. Yashoda Sambodayamasa. Yashoda called him, addressed him Govinda Damodara Madhava. Ankadirudam Shishugopagudam. Tanam Dayantam Kamalaika Kantam. Sambodayamasa Mudaya Shoda. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hare Krishna. I end my talk here. If any of you would like to ask any questions, you can ask now. And any of the shlokas you want me to repeat the meaning, I can do that also. So I end here unless there are some questions. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Shri Bilomangala Thakur ki jai. Shri Govinda Damodara Stotra ki jai. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share these wonderful prayers with you. There are many in the series. Time permitting, Krishna willing, we'll discuss it some other time. Manoharni Mataji is raising hand. Mataji, you can unmute.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I'm not able to see you. Your video is not on.
Yes, Mataji. Now waiting to you. Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very nice to see you.
Same here, Mataji. Same night.
Hare
Same
Krishna.
here. And Dandavat Pranams to all assembled here. Mataji, can you please repeat for the sloka number 9? You gave two different meanings. I got a little lost there. Could you please repeat, Mataji?
Sloka number 9. Which one? Abhidek Raja Hamsa. That one?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I have read 2-3 translations for this, Mataji. So different translators are interpreting it. Oh, that's some other cross talking. This shloka I have read two translations till now. In one, the metaphors are being some translators are taking the mouth as the lotus and the tongue as the swan, and some translators have described the names as swan and mouth and tongue together as lotus. It's just a difference in the way they are attributing the metaphors to. But the prayer is, may these names Govinda, Damodara, Madhava always be there on my rasana, on my tongue.
Tip of the tongue, yes.
So you have some translation with you. Read it out, Namataji, once.
No. I'm not having anything. I'm hearing it for the first time.
Oh.
But then I got a little lost there. So I thought I'll make a note. But I like that line. It got registered the way you told. Sada Madiye
Rasanagra Range.
So
actually,
nice.
there are more prayers. They are telling he's actually begging the Jihwe Madiye, and he's begging the tongue when the Dandadara comes. Dandadara is Yamaraja. When the Dandadara comes, I have one request for you. Just when that personality is coming, you just utter these 3 words, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. This is the only request I have for you. He's telling his tongue. He knows if when Dandadara comes, the tongue utters Govinda, Madhava, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, the Dandadara cannot do anything. So there are many beautiful prayers like this. Every prayer is individual in itself. It's not like a connection. So we chose this in our Yashoda Goshti because the mothers of little children would come for the class. And then you don't know, suddenly the child is crying, the Prabhuji will call and this lady has to leave. So even if they're staying for 15 minutes, they just get to hear one shloka. It's like a complete context. So they can go home and tell the children, one day when Krishna was playing, one gopi called him. So they have something to take home for the children. And then it's not that, and next week when they come back, it's not that they feel disconnect with the previous class. So that is the reason I chose this shloka for that class. It was actually for the Yashoda Goshti classes what we did. We learned these shlokas for 1.5 years. Only every Monday we used to have a class. 1-2 shlokas we would learn, and then the Matajis would enact. Maybe 2-3 Matajis will become one gopi is calling and Krishna is coming. She's removing butter and then she's telling Govinda, Damodara, Madhava and things like that. So though the poems are so simple, like when you keep meditating on the meaning and recite on every day, I've seen not only with myself, I've seen all my acquaintances also, like there's a instant rejuvenation, and then there's so much of energy to go about your household task. So anybody churns butter at home, they will remember, oh, this way if you can remove butter and call out to Krishna, that will be so wonderful. So for every activity in our day-to-day life, there is a scene from Vrindavana depicted by Bilomangala in the Govinda Damodara Stotra.
Wow. Very relatable, Mataji. Thank you for that.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Can we start? Is anybody asking anything else?
So Mataji, every week we are getting this good fortune and very nice opportunity to clear our doubts related to our sadhana. If anybody is having any question related to today's class or any other doubts related to their sadhana, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you. So
Today's
it
class
seems
has
that-
no opportunity for doubts, no?
yes, Mataji, that's what I was thinking. So thank you so much, Mataji. So Mataji, regarding that devotee Prabhu, so can you please announce how is his situation now?
Actually, that's
that
why I
we
had to
can-
join
Yeah.
5-10 minutes late because my Prabhu just came back from the hospital. I was getting some updates from him. Is the
Mhm.
recording stopped? I think all this doesn't need to go on the record.
I'll just stop.